Hi, everybody. It is day 4 of the Create Bootcamp. And today we're going to be talking about AM routine or morning routine. I have AM routine because that's the fourth letter of the word create. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And it's probably my favorite one of the 6 different practices. Like if I had to choose only one of them, it would probably be this one that has made the most difference, has had the most value, has basically just made me able to be a business owner, really. I'm going to share with you a couple of stories about how my morning routine has evolved, how it's changed, what it looks like. I'm going to give you a word to remember if you need to develop a morning routine that works for you. And I'm going to do all of that hopefully in about 40, maybe 45 minutes. So it might be a little bit longer today. But what I'd like for you to do as we have people coming on, I just sent out the text message a little bit ago. If you are not on my text list for when I go live, that's really the only time I send a text. Just put text in the comments and I will make sure and get that to you. I have that pinned up to the top of my page here to get on the text list. But if you've missed that, you can just put it in the comments here. But I'd like for you to get out something to write with. Yesterday, I talked about the friction pens, and I saw several people that said that they have liked these. Let me know if you have never tried them before, because they're the only kind of pens that I get now, and I just buy the refills, and it just makes it so easy. I will give you a little tip and a little warning. Because they're erasable, and this eraser, the reason they're called friction, they erase by the friction of the eraser on there. And what I learned yesterday was you want to be very careful if you are writing in the sun with these pens, because the heat of the eraser is actually what activates them to be erased. So yes, I got out a notebook last night looking for information that was not there. And I realized that a lot of my pages had faded in my notebook because I had written with the friction pen, taken it outside, and I must have had it open. The sun got in and it erased some of my words. So just be careful. So Sue said that she's never used them. Sue, you actually spell them F-R-I-X. Like the X is, I don't think you'll be able to see it on here, but the X is like big in there. So it's like friction. So, and I-O-N. So that's how you spell them. I may have those listed in my Amazon shop. I'm not sure if I do or not. So they're something that I use all the time. Donna said that she's never used them before. Hey there, Teresa. Oh, Donna says she made it. Very good. Get out something to write with. Get a notebook. Get a pen. You may even have your little pocket journal. I saw several people try out or share their pocket journals that they made. So it was all kinds of fun being able to see those. I have some note cards in there. You may want a little note card for the challenge today. Actually, I think a note card will work really well for the challenge today. So I will tell you more about that. Before I go ahead and announce to you the 3 winners that I have today from yesterday, which was our day all about energy, and I talked about my yellow drink that I drink, which is this Energize, and I said I was going to be giving these packets to 3 people, along with a list of 30 ideas that you can use for a Facebook Live, or really posting about anything. Like it could just be anything. But before that, I want to go ahead and kind of review a little bit. Hey there, Denise. I wondered if you were going to be able to come on live today since you're working from home. So yeah, Teresa, she says that you can actually erase them with the heat tool or a hairdryer. I have never used that, although I have seen some people do that. So they've used it to trace with, and then they use the heat tool to be able to erase it. So yeah. Hey there, Bev. Yes, Sue, it's F-R-I-X-I-O-N. So friction. And it is Pilot. It's Pilot who makes the friction pens. I would like to just kind of do a little review, a little check-in to see if you have watched the 3 previous days of the boot camp. Tell me if you watch 1, if you watch 2, if you watch 3. Maybe this is your first boot camp. Maybe this is your 4th boot camp, because this is the 4th time that I've done this series of 6 videos all about how you can use these foundational practices to really help you develop some routines, some habits, some things that will help you to not be stuck. The tagline of my Create course, which is where the content that I'm giving to you over these 6 days comes from, is to go from being stuck in your head to confident in your core. And we're going to talk a little bit about confidence today with the AM routine. But let me go ahead and just review. So on day 1, we talked about, thank you, Terry. I see she spelled out friction in there. So Donna, it could be like secret code writing. I'm not going to pull up your comments because they go too fast and then I end up pulling up other ones. So I see Donna says that she's watched all of them and it's helping. Oh, good. Yeah, I have so much for you today. Hey there, Loretta. Oh my goodness. Books, I have to tell you, some resources. So today is a jam-packed day that you'll probably want to write down, or I will give you ways to be able to, get all of the information. But the first day was about community. Tell me what you took away from the day about community, because I would like to do a little check-in and find out, have you connected with now 6 people? Because the first day I said 2 people. 2 connections is something that you can maintain and sustain to build up your community. So it'd be 2 people per day. We've had 3 days. Have you connected with 6 different people? I think that I've kept up with 6 different people. Friends, comments, all kinds of, I've connected with 6 actually new people. Keeping up with that, just 2 per day. So I'd like to kind of just do a check-in and find out, do you have 6 connections? Because that would be 2 each day for the 3 days. And then day 2, we talked about rest. And we talked about what are the kinds of things that you do and how you know if you're feeling like you aren't rested. And I had, for day 1, the winner that I had was Nilda Galarza, who put her information into the CBOB group. And I have there on the banner, you want to be in CBOB, which is my Creative Business Owner Basics group, if you want to participate in the challenges and the prizes and different things, and put the information over there. But Nilda won for day 1. And then on day 2, we talked about rest, and Nilda and then Teresa Frizzell won. And that was the audit was the first day. And then on day 2 for the rest, I had the emergency checklist. So I will be getting that to Nilda and to Teresa. And then for day 3, we talked about energy. Let me know what you took away about energy. Were there some words, maybe one word that stood out? Was there a phrase that stood out? We talked about where your energy goes, where your focus goes, energy flows, right? So what you focus on is where your energy is going to be put towards, and you get to choose what that is that you focus on. So for day 3, the challenge that I had was for you to go live inside of the CBOB group and for you to just talk about whether you were an introvert or an extrovert. And I think, surprisingly enough, out of that CBOB group, which they're ladies who own creative businesses, I think most people put introverted. Isn't that interesting? We're on live video, we are around people, we have a business where we work with people, but yet we're introverted. That doesn't give us energy. And if that's you, good news, because the AM routine doesn't really have anything to do with being around people. So you don't have to people very much during your AM routine. So I picked 3 random winners for the day 3. And it was kind of funny when I was writing them down because they all start with R. So it's brought the day 3 of energy is brought to you by the letter R. So there we go. So Robin Strobel, I don't know if she's on here yet. I haven't seen all of the comments. Rhea Smith and Renee Jenkins. Those are the 3 people that I chose who I will send a packet of the Energize, and I will send the list, the list of the 30 things about that you can go live with on Facebook. So congratulate those 3 people. Hey there, Cheryl. Oh, Teresa said she's been mowing. Oh, very good. Very good. So I saw a lot of people doing their lives, and it was so much fun from all different places too. And a lot of people really started writing down on their note cards some of the phrases and things that I had talked about, like the not yet and where the energy goes, where your focus goes, energy flows, and some of those. So those were so much fun to see because some people got very creative with those. So those are the winners from yesterday. So congratulate them. And what I forgot what anyway, those are the winners from day 3. So we're on day 4 now talking about the AM routine. And I have a question for you. Hey there, Nilda. Yeah, to the 3 R's. So do you have a morning routine? Do you have something that you kind of regularly do, something that gives you energy, since we were talking about energy, something that makes you feel rested maybe, or at least kind of like at peace or something like that? Do you have some kind of a morning routine? And if you do, I would love to know, like, what is it? Is it something that brings you some energy? Is it like serving you? Is it beneficial? Is it valuable, what it is that you're doing? I'm going to give you a word today, and I know Cheryl on here is going to remember it because every year every time we do the boot camp, she remembers it. Debbie may remember it too. Terry might remember it too from last time. I would like for those of you who have already taken the Create course and you are kind of familiar with these 6 different practices, will you put the hashtag Create Alumni? Put hashtag Create Alumni. So then the people in the comments can be able to see and know that you're the people who had already taken the course, and maybe that's why you already know some of these things. So yeah, Teresa, I'm going to talk about that book. I don't know right off where my copy is, but yes. So Edith says, hoping this redirects my focus. Oh, Edith, I'm sorry to hear about the bad things happening. Yes, Terry, Create Alumni. So hashtag Create Alumni. It skips past. There we go. Yeah. So with no spaces or punctuation or anything in there. So AM routine. Let me go ahead and tell you a story because I think I've shared this in the past boot camps, but I'm gonna share a little something else with you. I have been doing a morning routine probably since 2002. So what is that? 22 years, probably 22 years. And the reason that I kind of started doing an AM routine was really because I needed that quiet time in the morning. My boys were young at the time. I think they were 2 and 5. I was kind of going through some things that were just causing like a lot of stuff. And I really needed that time to myself in the morning to be able to show up during the rest of the day as a nice person. like as a person who wasn't distracted, who wasn't overwhelmed. Like I chose that morning routine so that it would set me up for the rest of the day. And I see some of you putting your routines and what you do in the morning, and Nilda's talking about kind of like what she does and things like that. And I would just say, whether you have a morning routine, you kind of have one, or especially if you don't have one at all, I want you to hear today the value of having one and how it can set you up for the rest of the day. If you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling not rested, if you don't feel like you have a lot of energy, if you're not really connecting in community, it could be your morning routine that could really start to change all of that. So in 2002, when I kind of started a morning routine, I kind of started off with a couple of like little devotional type books. And one particular morning, I think it was like in the spring, I was teaching full time, teaching high school at the time. And I remember thinking, I was kind of distracted because I remember thinking that I did not have an idea that to present that day for my advanced ceramics class. And so I had kind of that in mind, and I was reading the three little devotionals that I had, and one of them must have said something about like puzzle pieces kind of fitting together, things like fitting together. And because when we talked about rest, sometimes it's in those moments of rest when you're just like listening more because you don't have all the stuff and all the distractions that you have these like aha moments. Like tell me if you've ever had like an aha moment like out of nowhere and it wasn't something that you thought of, it was just kind of just like put there in your head. Well, that was the aha moment that I had then. I thought, well, I could do something with a puzzle piece and I could give that to my advanced ceramics class, and that would be just enough of an idea that they could go on and do a project with that. And I'll tell you, the projects were some of the best projects. They took a puzzle piece and just did some amazing projects with it. But I want to tell you what happened right after that was what kind of amplified that aha moment because I looked down. The room was kind of dark. Like I just kind of like kept it, just kind of a lamp on, kind of kept it just more peaceful like that. And I looked down on the floor and there were these puzzle pieces. I am not kidding. There were these puzzle pieces that I did not see when I walked into that room, and they were all over the floor. And I picked up those puzzle pieces, and that's what I actually took in. These are bigger, but I have these puzzle pieces that somebody had sent to me. I don't remember who it was. They sent these to me after they heard this puzzle piece story. And these are actually magnets, and they're these puzzle pieces, but these were paper puzzle pieces. And that's what I took in to my ceramics class to be able to have them use that for the project. So it's in those morning times when it's quiet and you're more receptive to listening that you get the ideas that you're pushing so hard during the day to find clarity on. It's during that morning time where you can maybe the ideas for an art project will come to you that you aren't able to, like when you're trying to force and try to think of something, right? Years later, I did some kind of a morning routine. I read those little books. I did something. Several years in a row, I went to the gym early in the morning. Like I've always had some kind of way to start the day before the day like comes to me, right? Like I chose how I wanted to start the morning. Years later, I was still doing a morning routine. I had kind of added to it. And I'm going to talk about when I give you this word, some of the different things that I have done. And it was in 2019, the fall of, December. It was December 11th. And I'll tell you how I know that exact day. And one of the morning routines that I had at that time, I was working full time and I had a little flip calendar. Do you know the little flip calendars I'm talking about? They like flip over and they'll usually have the date there and they'll have a little quote or a little affirmation or, just like a little something on there. And I had this little flip calendar on my desk and I had just decided at the end of November to be able to quit my job to start this business. And I had all of these ideas, all of these things that I was trying to put together, all of these questions, just a lot of different stuff going on in my head. And I looked over at my calendar, and this was the little flip calendar. And I keep it open to December 11th. So this was 12/11 of 2019. It was one of those, what do they call it? Like like that they don't have the year. Perpetual calendar. I think that's what they call it. So on December 11th, this is what I read. It is far better to begin with God, to see his face first, to get my soul near him before it is near another. In general, it's best to have at least 1 hour alone with God before engaging in anything else. And that is E.M. Bounds, who must be an author. I don't know. And then it says, his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, which is Lamentations 3:22 through 23. So that's my little flip calendar. And let me see, this was On My Knees is the name of the little flip calendar. So that was what I saw one morning, and that was kind of part of my morning routine. Like I would flip over that new page on my desk at my job. And hey there, Jamie Tucker. So Cheryl, I didn't know that. You used to say that you weren't a morning person. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I see a lot of things that Cheryl says that she does in the morning. And I see some other people commenting, oh, awesome. So that was what I looked over. And I'm not going to go into the long story about that, but that little flip calendar and reading that day and having all of those things come into my head, I wrote down in my journal, which I'm going to talk about as one of the parts of the morning routine. I wrote down in my journal the idea that I had for my subscription box that I started 7 months later. You never know, as part of your morning routine, when you're quiet and you are paying attention and you're like listening, and it's just there's something about a morning, the quietness that shutting out everything else allows you to hear better. Allows you to hear the thoughts that come in. I'd like to go ahead and share an acronym, and I did not write this down here. I'll write it down really quick so you can kind of see it, because I'm like a visual person. I want to be able to see it, but I want you to go ahead and write this down on your piece of paper. You could write it on your note card if you want, and I'm going to show you. I'd like for you to write it going down, and it is the word savers. So it is the word savers. And write it going down like this. And I'm going to tell you what each one of those words stands for. And this is an easy way for you to remember your morning routine and the things that you can go through and do that will set you up for being just a better person, just being a better person during the day and growing towards the person that you want to be. So the S on savers, does anybody have a guess? I know a couple of you are going to know what that is. And even from me talking a little bit, might know what the S stands for. The S, and I'll go through all of there's another S down at the bottom here, but this first S actually stands for silence. So Donna, I like your smile. Well, you know what? While you're being silent, let's add smile to that too, because I think that is important. It's kind of like getting up and smiling and being grateful for the day, right? Your silence can be anything that works for you. Silence can just be not talking to anybody else, smiling and being grateful, saying some prayers that are, that's quiet. my morning routine, like after I, kind of get up and everything, the silence part is on my phone. I have an app, and normally I don't recommend like getting on your phone right away, but this is the one thing that I will do in my morning routine. Maybe not the very first thing, but silence usually for me is going through the Bible app that has a story. So there's a little person speaking. Tell me if you know the Bible app. There's a person speaking, then there's the scripture, there's a little kind of devotional kind of thing. There's usually like some kind of reflection, and then one other maybe slide. So there's like 5 slides that you kind of go through, and that is the Bible story. And today I try to keep my streak, which is something that helps to motivate you if you track things. And I'm at 54. I had actually gotten up to, I don't know, like 500 something, 500 days without, breaking that streak. And because of more traveling or different things, I have just, missed a couple of days here and there. So it resets it. But anyway, that can be your silence. Just sometime in the morning where you're choosing to be silent and choosing what you allow in. I do open up that app, but I try to be very focused and not look at anything else on my phone. Actually, on my phone, I have a little folder, I guess you call it, and I titled it Morning Routine. So I don't even go anywhere else. I just go right there, and that's my morning routine. And I have a couple of other things in there too that I'll tell you about. For the A, does anybody have any guesses what the A is there? Oh, Denise reads the verse of the day before she goes to bed. I love that too. And the Bible Gateway. Donna, is that an app that you use from that? Or do you go on to, like, I don't know. I know of that one, but I don't know exactly how you use it. Does anybody know what the A could stand for? Because I have something that I wanted to show you about the A. A couple of different resources that I've used in the past. Jamie Tucker says affirmations. An affirmation can be, oh, thank you, Cheryl. She's putting like the different ones in there. Oh, that's actually the Bible. Teresa, I like appreciation. I think that that's good too. Yeah, the affirmations, appreciation, I think gratitude, all of those kind of go up in there. And I'll tell you where I kind of fit that into my morning routine. But an affirmation can be a statement that you set up to kind of focus your day on. When we were talking about where your focus is, where your focus goes, energy flows, right? An affirmation can really set up your day of something where you are focused on. And one of the ways that I used to kind of start my day was with these I am cards. And they're these beautiful cards that have a statement on them. And I just randomly picked this one. And it says, I am free. And it says, I release my attachments and liberate my spirit. That's kind of fun. It could be something as simple as that, some kind of an affirmation. I had read a couple of other ones in a book the last time that I shared this AM routine, and it was really good. It was from a book by Lewis Howes about, it's called The Greatest Mindset, and it had some really good ones in there. If I find them, I will post those inside of CBOB. I'll post those affirmations. They were really good. Here's another little inspirational journal that I got. I think that this is in my Amazon shop. A lot of the books that I'm going to show to you are in my Amazon shop as recommendations, and you can purchase them through Amazon using that link. And then I get like a small little like referral payment for doing that. So I can give you the Amazon link if you'd like, to any of these books. But I think that this one is in there. And they have all of these little kind of like affirmations. And then there's like a little place to journal over there too. So it has the little ribbon in there to keep track. So At one point, I was reading those in the morning, and I would just open it up and I would read that quote, and that affirmation would be something that would just give me some more confidence, or it would just give me a different way to think about something. It would just inspire me to be a better person, really, is what it would do. Sometimes I've even found little books like this at the Dollar Tree, Go for Your Dreams. And sometimes they will have little, oh, look at those pretty flowers on there. And, they'll have a scripture in there. They'll have like a little devotional, anything like that, where it's something just kind of short, even something maybe that you can take with you throughout the day, is helpful to be able to just have those affirmations to start your day. And that can be really quick. For the V, that is visualization. Tell me if you do a vision board. Do you have a vision board for 2024? I've done a vision board for the past several years, and for whatever reason this year, I planned out my year, but I never did create a vision board. It's June 27th. I think I'm still going to create it for the rest of the year. Like I have all the materials, I have all the stuff. I just never put it onto the board. I actually kind of did it inside of a journal. And so I just need to kind of get that together. But tell me if you do a vision board, because I think as a creative visual person, that's been really helpful. It's been really helpful for me to have them right here where I see those and I can visualize. You can also write it down and then read it every morning and keep kind of visualizing that vision board and having all of your goals and the person that you want to be, all the things on this vision board to represent who it is that you want to be. I mean, creating a vision board is really a fun process, and it really, really gets you connected into what it is that you want. And you can be really creative with what you add on there and the colors that you use and everything on there. So that can be a really fun activity if you're kind of, when you're creating the vision board. The E on here is exercise. Some kind of exercise. Tell me in the comments if you do some kind of exercise. Like, what do you do? Do you do some kind of a workout at the gym? Do you go to the gym? I actually stream my workouts from home. So you can have, those kinds of workouts. It can be a walk. I've been trying to walk in the morning. I did just a little update on the shoes. I did walk for 45 minutes today. The new shoes did definitely help. My feet were still a little sore when I got back for 45 minutes though. That's longer than there's only been one other day in the past couple of weeks that I've walked for 45 minutes. So Terry says she walks every morning. Terry, how long do you walk? I'm just curious. I try to walk for a certain amount of time, and I've kind of tracked about how many steps that is. Around 3,000 maybe if I do 30 minutes. I don't know if that sounds right. So Cheryl says that she does cardio drumming, which I just think is the most interesting. I don't know anybody else who does the cardio drumming. So yeah, Edith, there were a couple mornings last week where I had to get out early because it had warmed up quite a bit. And even in the evening, I had to wait until the sun went, behind the trees and went down because it was pretty warm. Any kind of exercise. It can be stretching. It can be yoga. It can be, our bodies are meant to move. And by moving, that gets your heart pumping. It wakes you up. It tells your brain, hey, it's time to wake up, not just to sit down. So, hey, Marion says she does pickleball and aquatics. I didn't know that. Walking up and down the aisles through Hobby Lobby. I think that counts. I think that definitely counts. So the E is exercise. The R, why do I not remember what the R is? I have it written down so many different times. The R is reading. I couldn't remember. The R is reading. And, when I kind of started my personal development journey, it was about the same time that I started doing a morning routine, and it involved reading. Not not the fiction books, not the fiction books like the stories. I think that that's more part of like rest or your evening routine that we'll talk about on Monday. But books that actually help you to grow, books that will help you to learn new ways of thinking, books that will help you to learn different strategies, even maybe learn new creative techniques. And I think that it can be reading in a book form. I think that it can be reading in a Kindle form. I think that it can be reading online where anything that is helping you to grow, anything that's helping you to change habits, anything that is helping you to think. We're going to talk about thoughts tomorrow, but to think differently, to help work through things. It's a way of like personal or even professional, if you have a business, development. It's developing you and growing you into a different person. So what I try to do is I combine my exercise and my reading with an app that I use. And you can let me know if you want more information about this one. It's in my morning routine folder. It's called Growth Day. So that's what the little icon looks like there. But that morning routine of listening to that growth day is my personal development. And right now I'm doing it while I walk. So I think today's was like 18 minutes. I walked longer than that. So I listened to a couple of other things. So I'm listening to that personal development while I'm doing the exercise. And for me, I kind of remember it better. Like I kind of remember the things that were on the growth day, talking about all kinds of different things, like in the place where I was listening to it, if that makes sense. So when I'm doing something, it also helps me to remember if I'm listening to it. I actually do prefer to read a physical book. Let me know if you prefer the book or like the Kindle, or I don't even, is it Audible? That's listening though. I don't know. Tell me if you like reading on a device, if you like listening, I like the actual book. And the one that I am doing right now, I'll show you a couple of these other books that I have here too. The one that I'm doing right now is The Wealth Money Can't Buy. And it is by Robin Sharma. This one is in my Amazon book list. So if you want to have that, then I can. Yeah, Teresa, I'm with you. Like I want to underline, I want to write little notes. It helps me to remember. I can picture the page. I can go back and find it easier if I have the book. So Donna says she's rather hold the book, but she'll listen to it on a Libby. Is that like a Kindle? I've never heard of a Libby. So there you go, Debbie. She's made that work for her. She likes to listen to on the YouTube. There are some great little motivational type things on YouTube that you can listen to. So I think that that's a great alternative to that. I was going to show you a couple of other books, maybe not all of them along the lines of reading, but this is one that I mentioned before, this High Performance Habits, and it is by Brendon Burchard. He is somebody that I really like learning from because of the way that he presents the information. You have to find somebody, if you're going to be listening to something, I think that you have to find somebody that you know, their voice is pleasant to you, their cadence of how they speak, how they present the information. Like there are just certain people that I can read their book, but to listen to them, that would be much harder, right? But so for Brendon Burchard, he really is a teacher, and I like the way that he presents the information. The Growth Day app is his personal development app all in one place. And actually, I'll show you a couple of other things that I use that are Brendon Burchard's also. I just started using this high performance journal, which I will go ahead and tell you the S is scribe or journal, but savor with a J just didn't make sense. So the last one is a scribe, or journal. So I just started using this high performance journal, which is Brendon Burchard's journal. And it is, there's quotes in there. There are different times that you rate yourself. There are different categories. I'm trying to get to like a couple of pages. Oh, it does have the little ribbon on there. I actually need to get a new one because I'm almost at the very end. But it'll have a page to just kind of document like what's going on that day. And it'll also have just a question. Like this one says, if I were going to feel more content and fulfilled in my everyday life, these things would have to change. And it just gives you like a little bit of space to be able to write and to journal a little bit. And there have been all kinds of studies about the benefits of journaling. And I always recommend to somebody, if they're feeling a lot of swirl, I call it like swirl. There's just like a lot of things like going up into their head and it's overwhelming them and they're stressed and all of those things. Like, are you journaling? Get a journal and start writing, because journaling and really like getting it out of your head. And yeah, Cheryl said reflecting along with journaling. And Cheryl and I have talked about, there's a book, this word savers is not something that I came up with. It actually comes from the book, The Miracle Morning, which is by Hal Elrod. And I'm pretty sure that I have that in my Amazon book list too. I will share that Amazon book list inside of CBOB. So all of them are already in there and I'll share that link in there. I might be able to put it in here if you put the word Amazon or book list or something, and I'll be able to put it in here. But that is not one that I have the physical copy. I have like the Amazon Kindle, whatever version of it or something. But that word savers is from that. And I think that he does put it as like journaling and reflecting. So you're reflecting on the day, you're reflecting on, especially in the morning routine, you're reflecting on how you want to show up for the day or answering some reflective questions or something like that. So the other thing that I use most mornings, and let me say this about a morning routine, it does not have to be perfect. I don't want you to think that you get this morning routine, you have all of your 6 things, you know what you're going to do, and you have it all laid out, and one day like something happens and it throws you all off. That doesn't mean that you're not good at a morning routine. That doesn't mean that you've messed up. That just means that you're living. That means that life happens. And it's not about being perfect, just like with the Bible app that I have broken my streak a couple of times and had to start over. It just means that you're being intentional to have those things happen more often than not. Like you're trying to go through and do your 6 savers more often than not. I would love to know in the comments, how long do you think those 6 different things would take? Do you think they would take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 35 minutes, an hour? Like how long do you think those 6 things would take for you to do? The silence, the affirmations, the visualization, the exercise, the reading, and then the scribing. And Cheryl just put all of them in there all together. Very good. And you can write them, going down on your card here. Actually, the challenge that I'm going to have you do, you may just want to have it like this. We'll see. We'll see how you want to do. So Renee says 30 minutes. Depends, 30 minutes to an hour, Teresa says. And it does depend. It depends on what you have going on that day. It depends on, just a lot of different things, right? I would say you could just do an affirmation. Like, even if you only have a few minutes, you could do one of those things, and that's better than not doing them at all. 30 to 45 minutes, Donna says. Depends on how long your exercise is, but you could just get up and stretch, and that just takes a couple of minutes. And even that would be something that would serve you, because as you do those things over and over and they compound, you can actually accomplish a lot of things just by that repetitive day after day of doing just small little things. I have a friend who actually it was my mentor Summer who came up with the emergency checklist. And she talked about when she was kind of in a swirl, she was overwhelmed. There were a lot of things going on. She would get up and do like 10 push-ups or jumping jacks or something. And that was her way to get her body moving, change her physical state. And it would start to change how she was reacting to whatever it was that was going on. So Terry says an hour or two. You know what? There's some mornings where definitely my morning routine is like 2 hours because I just take my time because I can. This morning I got up at like 4:15 because I fell asleep earlier. So I got up earlier because I only sleep like a certain amount of hours. But so my morning routine, I extended out a little bit longer because I could. And I really just enjoy that morning time, that quiet time. And it is going to vary. And even if you only do one of those things, you pull like an affirmation from those I am cards like I showed. You do, one of the other books that I didn't show was this 100 Days to Brave, which is one of my favorite books. Even if you did something like that and that was the only thing that you did, that's going to be better and you're going to show up as a better person just by taking that couple of extra minutes. It sounds like a lot of you already have a morning routine. I would just challenge you, if you don't, to see the value in being a better person throughout the day by making time for that morning routine. I wanted to show you one of the other things that I'm using right now. I think this is like the 6th or 7th one that I've done, is a high performance planner. Let me know if you are a planner junkie. Like, have you tried all of the planners? Have you tried the Happy Planner and all of the different planners? I used to get the Christy Wright planner, and she had it, and it was like thick, and it was not big enough to be able to write on. So the one that I'm using now is the High Performance Planner. And you can't see, it's written like in the middle there, and has this little elastic strap there. And I'll show you like a layout of one of the pages in here. So it has 2 full pages to be able to write out a lot of the information, a lot of the things really that are those 6 parts of the savers. And it talks about, what are your 3 things that you want to get done today. It has an hour by hour list in here of how to do things. It has a morning mindset, and it has just different questions to ask and to reflect on. And then it has an evening journaling. It has a score in here where you can score yourself on the different habits that Brendon Burchard talks about in his book. It also has like a monthly calendar. It really is my way of kind of organizing my day. So especially when I have a longer amount of time, I really take the time to fill all of that in. And we'll talk more about the evening routine on Monday, but I take the time to do the evening routine in there. And it really sets up my day much better. I see a lot of you. Oh, good, Donna. Yes, focusing on one of the habits Cheryl talks about. And there is an app for the Miracle Morning where there's a paid and a free version, right? I think I've done all the free version information in there. So, oh, very good, Teresa. So it syncs with your phone. I've tried like the digital planners. Those don't work as well for me as actually writing the information down. So today, I know I'm already like at 50 minutes. So the morning routine is something that has changed so much of what I do and how I show up and how much more energy I have and how much more focused and more clarity I have, and all of those things. I could just keep talking about morning routine. So once a year, I dedicate talking about morning routine a little bit more in depth. But today, the challenge that I have for you to do is actually maybe a little bit more challenging than some of the other things have been. Because what I'm going to ask for you to do is to take your Savers card, and I'm going to ask you to take a photo of you holding your Savers card. And if you have information written on there, that's fine. But I'd like for you to take a photo of that, and I'd like for you to post it on your personal profile. And I just want you to say, as the caption on your photo, I commit to my Savers. I commit to my Savers. So, oh, Nilda, I'm sorry. I have not been putting it into CBOB. I haven't been sharing it into there. I am keeping it here, and then it's on YouTube, but all of the challenge information is over there on inside CBOB. I talked a little bit yesterday. It's just hard to be able to share that information here on a page. It's much easier inside of a group like that. So I'm sorry for the confusion. But take a photo of your note card or piece of paper that says Savers on there, and in the caption put, I commit to my Savers. You don't have to put anything else, because maybe someone will ask you, and maybe you'll direct them back to this video, and you can tell them to watch the part where I talk about the Savers and how much it can help them in their morning routine. And I want you to post it with the hashtag create627. Hashtag create627, right? Because it's the Create Bootcamp, and then it is June 27th. So hashtag create627. And I'd like for you to put that on the post, because I'm going to be looking tomorrow for the posts that are out on the personal profile of those Savers. If you want to go into CBOB today and you want to post that in there too, that's fine. I'm going to be looking for it out on the profiles with the hashtag the create 626 627. So yes, I will do that, Teresa. The text link for my page is different than if you're in a group. So yeah. So the hashtag is create627. And you can post that out on your personal profile. And then I'd like for you to put a takeaway in here. I talked for about 50 minutes all about the morning routine. I'd like to hear what your takeaway is. What is something that you're going to do for your morning routine? Something maybe that you weren't doing before. Maybe you're just going to recommit to being a little bit more consistent with your morning routine. And you're just going to try to do that and see what happens after a week. See what happens after 2 weeks. And I will tell you that as you commit to doing that, you will start to see more things like those coincidences, like those little puzzle pieces. You'll start to attract the things that you're focusing on. You'll start to have opportunities open up. You will start to have more appreciation, more gratitude. You will find your life to be different by implementing a morning routine. Somebody had mentioned earlier the 5 a.m. Club, and it is a book that we read last year in the Create course, and it was really good. There was a lot of information. It was a completely different book than I had ever read before. All of the ladies in the course read the book, and it really had a lot of information in there about why waking up at 5 a.m., having a morning routine was very important and beneficial and valuable to be able to set that up. So go ahead and put your takeaway in here and comment on some other people. Maybe there's some other people that have a similar morning routine as you do in the comments, and you can kind of go back through and you can comment on those. And before I went live, I did not decide on what I wanted the prize to be. But I will tell you that tomorrow I will pick 4 people that have posted their photo with their Savers, that say that they're going to commit to their Savers on their personal profile with that hashtag create627. And I'll be giving away some kind of a book. I have not decided exactly which one. I was sitting outside enjoying the sunshine before I got on the live today. In years past, I had given the 100 Days to Brave. Last year, I gave the 5 a.m. Club book to some people. I think I'm going to pick a different book this year. So it's going to be a book. It's going to be related to the morning routine. And I'm going to pick 4 people tomorrow, and I will tell you what that book is tomorrow. So until tomorrow, until we talk about thoughts, you don't want to miss tomorrow. If you have a lot of thoughts that you want to rewire, you want to reprogram, that you don't like going on in your head, definitely we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. But until then, I want you to remember that as you take inspired action towards developing a morning routine, the quicker you're going to be able to create a life that you love. And I am definitely proof of that. 22 years ago, setting up that morning routine and doing that and repeating that and tweaking that and changing that over the years is what's gotten me to here, to a life that I love, that I get to create, that I get to choose, that I have built myself into the one that serves me and allows me to serve others. So I will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock here on Creations of Studio 39. And I hope to see you back tomorrow talking about thoughts. So I'll see you then.